So I'm trying to set up my leaders to be empowered so they can go, because I'm only one person. I can't go in and literally like be way more invested into, 40, 50 kids. I can't. That's a lot for one person to manage and do. So you establish a strong set of leaders and it makes your job as a youth pastor much, much more tangible and not just like, this seems daunting and impossible for me to like shepherd that many people on my own.
Yo, welcome everybody. Welcome back to Keys to Student Ministry podcast. I'm your host, Pastor Herb. That's what the students call me. And I have on my show today, young Justin Mitchell. He's live, as you can see. He loved him some DBZ. We was actually before the show just talking about how irritated I am. If you ever played Sparking Zero, it came out, when did it come out? October 10th?
It came out like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. And so just tell him how frustrated I am with playing online and how good everybody else is. And he said, I just need to get on the grind. I said, I can't.
You just getting too old, man. It's all right.
I can't. I can't, man. I can't get on the level as everybody online. So I even snuck to take a peek at who's the top ranked in the world, I guess they show you. And somebody's a S1, 140 something wins. I'm like, whatever.
That's a streamer or a content creator, bro. That's what happens when you get to do that as your full time. What are you gonna do? Like, this is what I do. I get to play this game all day. So
yeah, I can't compete. So
yeah,
I think
me neither.
No, I got a max of like 4 wins, I think.
Hey, there you go. So at least that's 4 more than what I thought you had. I thought you were rocking a big old donut, bro.
I get like some lucky ones in every now and then, but all right, that's making me more frustrated to talk about it. All right, y'all. So we're gonna start this. We're gonna start the podcast off with this segment that I call slang of the show of this episode, and the slang for today is yeet. All right. So if you ever hear your students
yeet,
yeah, say yeet. Here is the definition. It says originally a word for throwing something, right? But now they use it to express excitement or to get rid of something with energy, right? Here's the example sentence. I yeeted my backpack onto the couch. So Justin said that he heard his students say that all the time. And so he said, just yeet that backpack on the couch, or man,
bro, I got a 12-year-old. She be saying that.
My 12-year-old. So
my 9-year-old be saying it. You know what I mean? And like, but yeet's been around for a minute. It's been around. It started out as like a gamer thing, I think. You know what I'm saying?
But has it always been about throwing something?
Oh yeah. Yeah, or like if like a character, you would see it in like video games. There's a lot of it's a gaming culture thing. Like it came out of that, where some character would get thrown across the screen, and they'd be like, "Oh, he just look at me, got yeeted across the screen." Like it's been around for a little bit, but it continues to like evolve a little bit. You know what I mean?
So there you go. So listen, leaders, youth pastors, volunteers. If you hear your students say yeet, they're not cussing and not saying anything inappropriate.
Yeah,
they threw something, or somebody flew somewhere, or whatever that is. You hear it here first.
Or they're super excited about something.
Yeah, so it usually was from them that they'll say like yeet, like I'm excited. It ain't about throwing nothing. They'll just say it. But it's almost a similar, because I'm from the Bay Area, so they're like yeet. You know what I'm saying? They'll say that, but it's not yeet.
Yeah, yeet is different than yeet.
See, wait, there you go.
Extra T is that little T, bro. It's
the T. It's the T. So there you go. That's the slang that you can take it, put into your pocket. And if you're just not that cool to use it like me, I'm not going to use it. It's going to sound strange, but they'll appreciate you at least learning and knowing what that means. So there you go. Put that in your pocket. All right, we have Justin Mitchell here, y'all. And he's been in the game for a minute, so I'm going to let him go ahead and introduce himself and just some things that he's been a part of, and he'll run down his history for you. So Justin, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yeah, man. Thanks Irv, for just letting me be a part of the conversation and allow me
Yes,
to
sir.
continue. We did something similar to this a little while back, man. So,
Hmm.
honored to always just partner with you and have conversations, act silly, act goofy,
Absolutely.
talk
I think you
nerdy
do that more
stuff,
so
and
now. I think you do
huh?
that more so now with this a student ministry podcast. So let's dive all the way
Yeah,
in.
yeah, no doubt. That's facts. Yeah. So like, I've been in ministry in my mind, right? When people are like, "How long you been in ministry, Justin?" Like, "How long you been serving?" And I'm like, since 2006. Like, once I
Mm,
gave my life to the Lord, bro, like I wasn't working in a church, but that's to me, like ministry started, right? Like,
mm-hmm.
so before I ever got into youth ministry, though, like a little backstory, about me is I grew up in and around like hip hop culture. Um, and being an MC and a rapper and like starting in middle school, going through high school, and I ended up getting saved in my freshman year in college. And from that point on, it was just like, how do I use my gifts, right? How do I use what I'm doing to glorify the Lord? And so I didn't go to Bible college. I went to a school of communication arts out here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I just did a 2-year hands-on academic experience to learn how to be in the studio and mix and record my own records. And
Mm,
then I got saved my like freshman year or my first year into that school. And yeah, I just looked at everything from that point. Once I surrendered my life, man, it was just like, all
mm,
right, everything that I'm doing is ministry to me. Like it's something to use to hopefully share the hope and the freedom and the purpose that I now have experienced to other people through what it is that I do. So even my music was like that. And then
mm-hmm.
but the byproduct of me doing that years later, around 2010, I had been performing and ministering all up and down the East Coast of kind of the eastern. I would say not the East Coast. I'm saying the eastern coast of
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina and like Virginia Beach, and I was kind of in and out of those spaces a lot. And through that ended up being uh, me getting an opportunity to walk into youth ministry.
Mm,
And so 2010, I got a youth position at a really small local church. It was like 3 or 4 students. And then they brought me on well, they reached out to me because they saw me like perform in and around their area as an artist and do ministry through hip hop. And they were
okay.
like, man, like you connect with our students so well, like, are the people like kids, young people really well. And so, like, man, have you ever thought about being a youth pastor? And I was like, no, I haven't.
Mm.
It's like I don't want to. That was not my aim. Like I went to school to do this, and that's what I love to do. Um, and then obviously God had other plans, and actually try not to go down this. Maybe we go down this story another time. I don't know, but I actually got my solidified like okay moment from the Lord to say this is where you're supposed to go with this thing to go do youth ministry was through playing Xbox. Actually, I was playing Xbox, and it just had a moment where some random unbeliever saw my Xbox profile, saw a Bible verse, and then we started. He's like, how do you feel about smoking weed?" And I'm like, "What is this?" And it literally was some random guy on like a violent shooter game, and it turned out to where we stopped playing the game, and this guy started inviting friends, and we had about 10 people in the lobby, and
Mm,
I was talking with like 10 different young adults and high school kids, and next thing I know, I'm talking to a guy and he goes, "Man, are you a pastor?" And I was like, "No." And
yeah.
he's like, "Have you ever thought?" He's like, "Bro, like if I would have had somebody talk to me the way you're talking to me, it would have saved so much hurt in my life that I would have probably never had to experience." And
Mm.
so from that point, that's when I was like, "All right, Lord, like I'm gonna do this thing." And so yeah, I did youth ministry then. Took a little bit of time from like 2012 so about 2000, so like a 10-year gap. 2022, I got back into youth ministry,
Mm.
and yeah, so started doing high school ministry in 2022. So it's a little synopsis of my ministry story background. You know what I mean?
So you've been in the game since 2010, not one, two. And it is funny how sometimes pastors, because I used to be an artist a while ago, and I say used to, because I think I hung them up. but they see you, it's like, oh man, you'd be great for the youth, man. You can rap, you look cool, your hat's backwards. Like maybe you can maybe you can, help, with our youth. And I understand what they're doing, what I'm saying? They're trying to find something that's relevant and
Right.
bring it to them. But it just so happened for you that you were just gaming, after kind of running from it, and then just having regular conversation. Somebody asks, how do you feel about smoking weed? And there you go.
Yeah, crazy. Yep.
Yeah, because actually that's good because that's, what you need. What people need is the real talk, especially students, because, we go into these church areas and hear about, the scriptures and David and Goliath and, all what they did. But it's like, okay, now what does that mean for me? And I guess you made it real to them at that point.
Yeah. No, yeah, 100%. I mean, and I think that's always been my aim anyways, even early on was always to just be like me, but
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna like shy away from truth and be honest and tell obviously lean on scripture for the understanding of where the vantage point, whatever it is I'm trying to stand
Mm-hmm.
on, has to be biblically solid. And
Yep.
so I want to make sure that I'm not wavering off of that and say, not to say I have it all figured out, and I don't, but at the same time, like I think even to that has been part of my ministry is being okay with not knowing everything. Like
Yeah.
I don't have to
Absolutely.
know everything. And I think that helped me relate to students and people because they would look at adults or other people in ministry
Mm-hmm.
as if they did know everything. But
Mm-hmm.
there's this guy who maybe looks more like me or whatever, or somebody like it can kind of connect
Mm-hmm.
with them on a relational level. And then, wow, and he's not a guy who just, I mean, he has some wisdom. He's got some things, he got some knowledge, he got some experience, but then like just being
Right.
honest, like you know what
Yep.
I'm saying. And I think that's going to be a big
Absolutely.
part of our conversation, even today, man. I think that's really what I'm gonna probably be. You'll find me leaning into a whole lot. You know what I mean?
Mm. Nice, man. No, that's definitely real. I like that you said relationships because it is definitely key uh, to build a relationship with our students. And if you want to check out that episode, I'm on here with Pastor Trey, and as he talked about building solid relationships with the students. But we are going to go ahead and yeet over, you like that, to the next level, and that is a relationship with your volunteers. And so I asked Justin to come on because he said that one of the things that he felt like that he was really good at and what he did well was building relationships with his volunteers and his leaders. So um, that's why Justin is on here today, and I want him to have the floor. But one of the things I want to ask is how important is it? How important is it to have a relationship with your leaders and your volunteers? And then the next question, and I'll remind you if you forget, but where do you start? How do you do that?
Yeah. I mean, in all actuality, man, I think I really didn't see. I didn't understand the importance until about maybe honestly maybe a year or so ago.
Mm, okay.
Um, I think that's when I realized the importance of volunteer. Like, I mean, I knew that volunteers are important. Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone knows that,
Right.
but to the importance of like your investment or your and I'm not being investment financially necessarily. Like yes, financially there's ways to do that.
Mm,
But it's really like how am I investing some time into them I think is what matters, right? And so for me it's just been uh finding time to before service. How am I speaking to them? How am I including them? How
mm,
am I trying to prep them and get them ready for whatever topic or discussion we're about to have? Getting them their kind of a little more set up to win, so that way, like, because some leaders, every when you have volunteers and you got some other leaders who are stepping in to just again volunteer to help lead
mm-hmm.
your youth group or your students. I've had leaders who just feel like I don't really know much. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. And it's
Yeah.
like like and we can say from the youth pastor perspective, like, look, it's okay. You don't need to know a lot. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
okay. Which is true. But it's good on the back end for us to be able to try to prepare them for the win. Like to be like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm gonna try to set you up so that way maybe you don't know what to say, or maybe you're coming, maybe you normally do know what to say, but today you had a rough day and you
Mm,
came in tonight with your head full of a lot of different stuff. You're clouded by a lot of things, and or the topic may just be a little stretchy for you and you don't
mm-hmm,
know which way to lean or what to say or how to handle it directly.
mm-hmm.
Well, good. We have a piece of paper right here. You can take it, and there's already some questions on it that can help you get jumpstart the conversations in your small group time
Mm,
with your students. Like for us, we have small groups. You know what I'm saying? Like after the message, most of the time we have a
mm-hmm.
message, we talk, and then it's like, hey, break up into small groups, and now let's dissect it. Let's really see how this is landing on you. And so when leaders are trying to have these conversations, sometimes it's like trying to set them up for that. And so like I think that's a pivotal piece for me
Mm.
is being able to like yeet them to win. You know what I mean? Trying to
There you go. So I think you said a lot in that, and I think that's very important is setting up your leaders for a win. Because you do get those leaders that come in, maybe you encourage them in. I have a couple of those where you encouraged in, and they haven't done youth ministry before, but they feel like they wanted to help out, and they don't know what to say or they don't know what to do. And so I think the value in setting them up, preparing stuff for them, making sure, like you said, that they get the win. I think that establishes that rapport between you and them. Because, like, oh, he or she didn't just leave me out here to dry. Like, they didn't just
yeah.
say, like, get to work and, we'll figure it out on the back end. Like, they actually walk with me. And did you see, like, that relationship kind of, like, go up in after you were done or after they experienced a few, small groups and kind of noticed you setting them up?
Um, I mean, I think it also depends on the culture of your church too, right? So if your culture of your church is like we maybe you've never done that stuff before and you're the
Mm-hmm.
first person to start exercising that, then it's gonna go a long way really quick. But then if you have like, you know what I mean? Like if your church has been doing this type of thing, that's kind of already established like as a rhythm, and you just kind of come in and this is already activated for you, like it's gonna mean something, but it'll be like, well, we already do this. Like we've been
Mm-hmm.
had, some kind of sheet and form and way to, you know what I mean? Like there's a way to kind of process that and make it a little
Right.
clearer. Like depending on your church culture or background, like whatever state of your church kind of function is, I think that's gonna determine some of that. But I mean, truthfully, it really is yes, that when the setup
Mm-hmm.
helps establish some trust. Is really what you're going for is like
Mm.
trusting. You want your leaders to trust you as a leader, as like the leader, like you are the person that's shepherding, right? If I'm the pastor, I'm youth pastor. Pastor means shepherd. I'm here to shepherd the flock, and part of my flock is my leaders. So the leaders then pour into the students. So I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
set up my leaders to be empowered so
Mm.
they can go, because I'm only one person. I can't go in and literally like be way more invested
Right.
into 40, 50 kids. I can't. That's a lot for one person to manage and do. So you establish a strong set of leaders and it makes your job as a youth pastor much much more tangible, and not just like this seems daunting and impossible for
Right.
me to like shepherd that many people on my own. And so yeah, I think developing that trust, and that comes with I think my next thing that I would say is like also like to develop the trust is you just gotta be honest with your leaders, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that for me in my past year, I have seen in ways that would just blow your mind, man. Like things that are just like, yo, like I have seen the trust equity
Mm.
huge because of and then vocalizing it to me like like Justin, we appreciate this, thank you for this. And it was just from me like little things where I'm just being honest with wherever we're at as like, hey, this is where we're at with things as a church right now, here's where we are with whatever season we're in. Like I'm just like and this isn't in the middle of small group talk, this is
Mm-hmm.
stuff happening outside of that, right? And so, yeah, I think just honesty builds trust. And if you can start to be honest and communicate, it doesn't mean you like gossip and be weird. It just means like, hey, I'm just gonna be honest about where we're at in certain areas and
Mm-hmm.
what the just overarching things with our church and just whatever. If you can communicate honestly with your leaders instead of leaving them in the dark, that will go a long ways, man. And I've seen it time and time again. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. So how have you seen that? Because I mean, you just said a couple of good things, but let's leave off on the last one. One thing that you mentioned is being upfront and honest with them. Um, when you're upfront and honest, and many people look at relationships differently as far as, whether you guys are buddy buddy or like you said, they trust you. So what does that trust look like when you were upfront and honest with them? You've been walking with them for a while. Like, how does that trust to you? What does that look like to them? Like, how did you know? Like, they got me. They trust my leadership, and we can move forward. When did you know you had that?
Yeah, I think if I'm honest, man, again talking about honesty, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like honestly, I knew I felt very strongly that my leaders trusted me,
Mm.
but I knew that they trusted me. Once I started to see them like with other people or other situations happening, and they would just be like, they would raise up and
Mm.
act on something based on without me having to say a thing,
Mm.
without me having to do anything. They would just react off of something, or not react, but just would go in and like
Mm-hmm.
because we trust Justin and we've
Right.
heard and he's been honest with us and he's led us like this. It doesn't like anything could rise up and they're defending Justin. They're walking as maybe something's trying to, attack not just me but the group,
Yeah.
but they're like, "Hey, like Justin, we got your back." And
Mm-hmm.
that type of environment was only cultivated because of the trust that was built because of my honesty and not keeping them in the dark. And they would always just
Mm-hmm.
be like, "Thank you for that. Thank you for that." And like no one like and I think that's how I was able to be honest with them because I heard, right? Listening, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was listening more than I was trying to talk about something. I'd listen and hear that their concerns about something. And I'm like, from past experience or past youth pastors or past other moments. And I'm like, I'm gonna make sure I don't do that, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
just in like any other good relationship, I feel like if I'm this is just kind of a quick like scenario, like maybe analogy. Like if I'm dating someone, right? I'm married. If I was dating my wife and she as we're dating, she tells me, man, like this was some in my past relationships, these are things that bothered me.
Oh.
If I don't take those things to heart and start to like figure out how to not do those things, I'm gonna quickly not have her trust. I'm not gonna have. She's gonna be like, you know what, hands off. Yeah, we're
Mm-hmm.
done. So listening to cues or little moments when you're like, I don't think this group or it sounds like
Mm.
there's some tension in how these leaders are responding to maybe it's what the church isn't doing to
Mm.
help pacify something. Then it's trying to figure out how do I get this to not happen
Right.
so my leaders are feeling safe in a space for them to do what they are being enabled to do and what they feel called to do.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
That's probably a lot, but
No, no, because it sounds like you've been listening, you're hearing what they're saying, you try to implement, because obviously you can't do everything that every leader suggests.
right.
Um, but you try to listen and implement those things, hearing from them. But also, I feel like one of the things that you pointed out is that when you listen and implement those things, like you saw them rise up to the occasion, like you saw them, you know, um, take on some things that you otherwise probably would have, but they got it for you because they again it's that trust factor that they had. And so, but the question I have for you, all right, so that's on the level of, task, Sunday, but how's the relationship like outside of that? Like what was one of the things that you did to get a chance to know them? So I give an example. So sometimes what we do, and I'm trying to make it more of a thing, but I try to take the leaders out to brunch. Now, all of them, maybe you can help me with this, but all of them, don't attend. Maybe like one or two won't attend or something like that, right? And that's just their personality. But for the most part, trying to take them out, try to get them together, and lay ministry down for a second, and just like how to get to know you. But what was the best things that you saw? One of the best things that you feel like you did to, like, all right, let me get a chance to know you outside of ministry.
Yeah. I mean, I know for me, I once a year try to take my leaders out to like a restaurant for dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and like not like a little complete shisty like McDonald's dinner.
Yeah,
Like
like
I'm
China
like, nah,
buffet, nothing like that.
like I'm trying to take them to it. So, like I took them to like King's Bowling Alley, right? Like so.
Oh,
I mean, even what you said, like trying to get up, like what you just said is that's 100% the way to do it, right? Find ways to get everybody together, have a house party, hang out. You know what I
yeah,
mean? We would do stuff for Christmas, like we had a Christmas gift exchange with just our leaders,
that's
and we're
nice.
just hanging out, and
Let
we'd
me
do a
write
couple
that
games.
down.
We would play games together, and
December's coming up, so.
yeah, December's coming up, so leaders take you know what I mean. Youth pastors take advantage of that. You know what I mean? If you're not already, but yeah, like stuff like that is golden, man. To getting outside of the sphere and the place that you just do ministry at, and be like, hey, we're out here together. Let's just hang out,
Mm-hmm.
talk, and be people outside of this
Yeah,
thing, and
yeah,
see that.
absolutely,
Yeah, you know what I mean?
absolutely. Because the thing is, like, it's like on your side, like they see you as a youth pastor. They, whether the church brought you in, or you rose up through the ranks of the church you've been at for a while. There's going to be leaders that don't know you, and so they just see you as the youth pastor, and that's, he or she does youth pastor things, but they don't know that, okay, this guy loves Dragon Ball Z. He's an artist. He loves wrestling. Okay, he has a wife, kids. What's their names? And I think that goes a long way when you are trying to get to know your leaders. And I'm gonna still stay on what you said, like them rising to the occasion for you. I think for you, or for any youth pastor, it will have a big impact if you knew them, right? So if you know them and you show up to, and some leaders may have their students in youth ministry, right? So they're there because their kids are there. So showing up to sporting events or whatever else that is, what I mean? Like they gonna step up for you in a major way because you got that relationship with them, what I
Yeah,
mean? And you didn't just task them to death, but you like, okay, well, let's hang out. Let's, like you said, do the gift exchange. And that's something I think, goes a long way. So, what's something else like, all right, or give me one example of someone that, okay, I know this person personally, like I know them, and, I can hang out with them, outside of this, but like, did it take time to get there? Or was this kind of like a instant click?
I mean, it's just like I feel like almost with anything else, there's gonna be some leaders that you just connect way faster with,
Yeah.
and you're just gonna be like, wow, we already have like five things in common.
Mm-hmm.
We could probably link up and go right now to go, whether it's go sit down and watch a basketball game at a
Yeah.
Buffalo Wild Wings or something, or football game, or if it's a movie type, like if I'm into Marvel movies or something, and there's another leader too that they're into Marvel movies. I'm like, hey
Yeah.
man, this movie's out. Y'all
Yeah.
want to go? Like stuff like that's real tangibly quick and easy. Then there's some that you just got to be like, for me, everybody likes to most people, right? This is just a bottom line for me.
Say what you're
Like,
about to say.
bro, there's two things that I feel like are just unequivocally like the best thing to use, even to reach people and just to even connect with people, right? To bridge gaps with people that you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
or to try and connect with someone that you're just starting to learn and be around. Like there's two things you can do: food
Yep.
and music.
Yep. That's it.
Food and music will
Food and
connect
music.
people like that, bro, all the time. And so I try to find ways all like to utilize food to bridge. And that's why like pastors, what do? When we
Mm-hmm.
have meetings, we go to
Food.
eat.
That's where to eat.
Bro, it's because it's the easiest way to bridge gaps with people and to connect and build relationships. So
Yeah.
inviting a leader to just, hey, you want to meet me over blah blah blah? Like, what kind of food
Mm-hmm.
you like? Boom. What's it?
Let's
Cool.
go.
You want to go here for lunch? Yeah, that's my favorite spot. Cool, mine too. Show up. You know what I mean?
Food brings people together. So
Always.
write that down. Don't
Yes.
have people come to your meeting in person and all you have is a cup of tea and some, some peppermints in the dish. Have some fruit or something laid out, and have
Yep.
some pinwheels or something. So because people feel excited when they see food. Oh, I can endure this meeting, but this meeting, I'm thinking about ways to get out of here to go,
Right.
go get something to eat. And so, but like you're saying, I think that opens up people to just sharing, just
And I
get
think
some
I think
food
this is
together.
like a nugget too. This is a little just a maybe a hidden gem that I think it's one of those things that like people know and we know about, but I think there's probably I've seen this in other youth pastors or even just people in
Mm-hmm.
general, Christians in general. Um, is like, man, to build trust with your leaders and to develop that relationship like firmly and more secure. I think you also need to be the type of leader who says not only the good things like from a stage or you're
Right.
speaking,
Right.
if whatever you're speaking, like your leaders are taking that in for they're trying. I have leaders who listen to what I'm saying and are taking notes while I'm speaking, bro. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching them like as if it was a regular Sunday morning service. They're
Mm-hmm.
still doing this as I'm speaking or whatever the message is and preaching the gospel. And so my thing is that I've tried to make sure that I do, and this is before I was even a youth pastor, is like if I'm whatever I'm about to say,
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that I'm 100% trying to live this out in front of
Right.
my leaders and my people. Because if you're not trying to live, that doesn't mean you have to be perfect. But what I am saying is, if you're talking about serving and doing X, Y, and Z, and you not serving as a pastor and you not cleaning up nothing, you
Nope.
ain't trying to stick around and help nobody,
Nope.
I can guarantee you
They done.
it's gonna end badly
They
for
done.
you.
Like the event's over. It's 8:30 at night, and you saying, "All right, y'all. I'll see y'all Sunday," and everybody still got a broom in their hand.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh. That ain't fly.
Nah.
No
Nah. Like,
food afterwards. No, nothing. Just, all right, y'all. I'll catch y'all. Thank you for everything you do. I'm out.
yep.
Like, where are he going? What,
Right.
what, what are you about to do? You know what I'm saying? They instantly want to put them brooms down. Like, we out too. Let's go. You know. But I think that's often left out. Like, people think that, okay, when the event's over, whatever it is, and the pastor is not serving, they watching, or they pointing, or they whatever, going back to the office or taking off early. That's unacceptable, man, because people are definitely watching. They want to see, are they going to get their hands dirty too? Like, I'm willing to do as much as they put in. They're saying, I'm willing to, work as hard as that person's working. Like, if I see that, my pastor's not working that hard, he out early, he come in later, show up late to stuff, barely putting the work in, like that relationship is gonna be a little torn. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
next time the event happen, they're not gonna want to volunteer. Or if they do, they're gonna hate that they showed up because they probably just stepping in because everybody else hasn't. So they feel like they have, again, for the sake of serving the Lord, I'm gonna be here, but it's not gonna be any excitement behind it because they know that you don't got them. You after this event, he gonna heave ho, and we're gonna be left picking up all the scraps.
They gonna yeet right out the door, bro. They
Yep,
eat it out.
yeet it right
Yeet,
out that
we out.
door. We gone. Like, we're not doing this no more. But that's real though, man. I used to when I first started going to church, my first pastor, I used to see him. We actually moved into a new building, and he was there, sweeping stuff up, putting things together, unpacking the chairs. I'm like, okay, I can get behind that, you know. And not to say that if your pastor leaves early, that means they totally forsake you. But if it's a
I
regular
think I think
occurrence,
it's I think at some point you can get to a point where you've built the trust.
the
You've built
trust.
that type you've built that type of like culture, not just culture, but just like this type of trust and
Yep.
environment and love within your community that
Mm-hmm.
you can go set up and help speak and do whatever, and then you're cleaning up some, and then some of your leaders might be like, "Hey, Justin, like, look, you did all this today. We know you've had a long day. Hey, go ahead and go home and kick it with your family, bro. We got it.
Yep.
We got it."
There it is.
Like,
Because you want that to happen, though.
right. That's what I'm saying.
That's
But
what
you don't
want
get
that
to
to
that
happen.
part unless you do this part.
Yeah. Ain't no, you don't automatically walk in and expect people to dismiss you to go home.
Nah.
Yeah, like you said, it's usually over time people see you working, people see you serving, and now
They
they
see
can
your
say
consistency.
yes, and consistency, not just one
Yep.
time, but you
Nope.
consistently staying and helping where they can now tell you, hey man, go home, you good. You know what I'm saying? And you got to get it to that point. I think that goes back to what you just said and what you said earlier is that trust. Like they know your character, they know you would stay. If they didn't dismiss you, they know you would stay and be right there with them. As a matter of fact, sometimes they know that you may be the last one to leave. Like everybody else can go, and you're the last one walking out the door. So when you get to that point, people don't want to see you do that repeatedly. They were like, all right, we gotta do something different. So, but yeah, you got to get to that point. It's not
Correct.
just given to you. So don't just like, all right, well, I listened to the Keys to Student Ministry podcast and he said, y'all should be letting me go early. Don't do that. Don't
Don't do that.
expect that. It has to be earned for sure. I know we're coming up on our time, but we said a lot. I think one of the things, again, as you said, is setting them up to win, right? Setting your people up to win, make sure they have everything that they need. Again, one thing that I learned is try to answer all the questions as much as you can before they have any. They may have some, but try to set them up, whether that's giving them a curriculum, whether that's, doing something that's always been done and you just slot them in that spot, or are you just sitting right next to them encouraging them? That's one. And I think another part is, again, like you said, building that trust, building the trust factor, like, okay, he got our back and they can rise to the occasion. And then lastly, serving, making sure you serve. Oh no, I skipped the part. One is taking them out. Actually take them out, go get something to eat, or have a gift exchange, or whatever that is, something fun, right? Know them outside of the church. And then lastly, find yourself serving. Find yourself picking up a broom, scrubbing a toilet, whatever it is, picking up the trash, dumping the bags. Bars. You heard them rhymes? Yeah, you heard. But
Hey,
something like that.
yeah. Yeah, I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say, like, there's one of my good this guy's been a mentor to me. He's been somebody he's just been a spiritual giant in my life, man, and somebody
Mm-hmm.
who's invested into my life and ministry from a distance and up close, even in seasons, man, where he's in Atlanta, Georgia. His name's Pastor Scott Free.
Mm.
He's got City Takers, crossover church, Atlanta, but
Yeah,
City
I've heard of
Takers and stuff. Shout out to them, man. He's a beast and just a great friend, great brother. He had told me this one of my first times meeting him, when I was actually out. I wasn't even a youth pastor, but I was out there doing uh, music. He had booked me and there's other artists, and we were all in a green room for a second. And he said, "Hey, just want y'all to know, like, y'all are gonna be in this room to do this, the prayer. But you guys are gonna be out here supporting every other artist. Y'all gonna be out here doing da da da
Mm-hmm.
da." And he goes, he said, afterwards, encourage you to hang out, talk to people, talk to students, talk to other, because it's like people off the streets gonna show up. There's gonna be people, all this type of stuff. And he goes, and he's like, here's the deal. Like, you guys are also gonna help us like clean up some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, I know y'all were brought in to do music, but man, like, here's the deal. The artists that are in from Atlanta that are here tonight, he's like, they'll tell you. He said, because they've been here before. He's like, but if you can't pick up a broom, you don't deserve to pick up a microphone.
Yep.
And when he
Absolutely.
told me that, bro, like it revolutionized how I viewed my position on the stage. So like if I'm like on the microphone, I'm like, I need to make sure I deserve this by grabbing something else to help and serve and
Yeah.
be doing something with my hands other than just holding a mic so my voice can go out. Like,
But
you know what I
afterwards,
mean?
you're not talking to nobody. You watch you trying to rub elbows with some of the big names, but everybody else is working now. You just
Yep.
that says a whole lot, actually. It
Yep.
says a whole lot. That's
Big
good.
thing, man.
That is good. All right, so this is the part where we come to. to where everyone who's listening to this podcast, whether you're a youth pastor, a leader, a volunteer, even a pastor of a church that's trying to grow the youth ministry, we try to have you, walk away with something you can do like tomorrow. Like after watching this, you can go implement it tomorrow. So, what's one thing that you said that's an easy grab, that's a low hanging fruit, that you can just go and do it tomorrow to get this started, to start building this relationship with your volunteers? What's one thing?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things out of all the things I said, I would say, if I could say anything to encourage someone to pick up something and go do it tomorrow, I mean, I would just say to start being honest. Just start just being real with people. I think that's what the world is hungry for and what they're
Yeah.
like chasing after, even in the church, is they're just tired of people playing games with them. Like,
Mm.
stop tagging me, stop pulling me around by a string and luring me into this, that, and the third. Like, man, can you just tell me that? Can you just tell me?
Mm-hmm.
Stop just beating around the bush with stuff. Can you
Yeah.
just tell me, be honest with me? Because I feel like, no, I don't know what's what half the time. Like, and I think people just, I've seen it time again so much, bro, where people they just appreciate upfront honesty, man,
Mm-hmm.
and try to just be genuine about it and not try to fake it and make it seem like you're just wrapping it in this fuzzy warm blanket to just
Yeah.
make it cozy for everybody. It's like
Yeah.
sometimes you got to talk about the hard realities. Sometimes you got to do
Mm-hmm.
that too. If honesty means that, pray about it and step into it. Speak truth in love, right? How do I
Mm-hmm.
do that to my group? Because maybe your group maybe they need some truth in
Yeah.
love, right? Maybe they need more of that. Um, and maybe they need. I don't know why I got to put this on my heart just now, but like maybe it's a student, maybe it's a group of students that you need to give some truth and love to, so your
Mm-hmm.
leaders can see how you model that type of correction or whatever. Because I mean, Lord knows, man,
Mm.
I've been in situations where I'm watching young people in my ministry try to act a fool and see what lines they could press, and then I'm like, I got to talk to these kids and tell them, nah, you can't do that. Like, this is not cool. Because there will be leaders who won't do anything. They'll just let it keep going because they don't
Mm-hmm.
know if they can cross that. They don't know what lines to say. They
Yeah.
don't know what to do. So we got to set that tone. And so it's like
Gotcha.
maybe it's the truth and love to some of your leaders and how to like be honest. Maybe it's not bad. Maybe it's not correction, but it's like maybe there is some truth and love that you got to do to shake up things, even with your own students, to help your leaders and volunteers see, oh, maybe I can start doing more of that to help this thing. And that develops trust.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's like A1. Um, Definitely being honest about where the group is, and sometimes, and being a volunteer or recruiting volunteers, sometimes you might have gaps and shortages. And then, like you telling people, hey, can you fill in there? Hey, can you fill in here? Just instead of just saying, hey, we got some gaps. And, we'd be cool if you can step in this role just temporarily until we get things going. Like they appreciate honestly, okay, now I know what I'm doing. Okay, he's not just randomly asking me to fill in this Sunday or that Friday or this Saturday. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just tell us where we are and we can make that adjustment. So that's definitely dope, man. So y'all can go do that tomorrow. If if you have a student ministry, may not be all the way bad, but you know that there's some struggles there. Just be open and honest about those struggles and just put it out there. I think they'll, your volunteers will definitely appreciate you more for sure, because now they know what it is. You're not just hiding stuff, trying to look perfect and nice, youth ministry. But then later on, they're gonna find out. It's like, man, like you keep asking me, I keep you keep moving me around place. Like, what's going on, man? Just tell us.
Yeah.
And because if you're a good leader and you've been, good to them, they just want you to be open and honest, and they'll probably just do what you're asking them. They just want to know. So that's what's up, man. Appreciate you, Justin, for coming on. Thank
Well,
you for
thank you,
everybody
man.
for tuning in. What you got some handles people can follow you on? So I know we probably got some gamers out there. How they can
Uh,
catch you.
yeah, man. I mean, everything I personally do from ministry to music to gaming, streaming, content, is all under I am underscore Justin Mitchell. I am underscore Justin Mitchell. and that's on Twitter, that's on YouTube, that's on Instagram, that's on TikTok, the whole nine. So
That's so
yeah,
much better than what I'm about to do. But go follow him, go check him out, and you can go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. You can subscribe. You can go to Keys to Student Ministry podcast. Simple, right? Then go to IG. All right, and in IG, now I have to read this because we just going off, and you have to go do Keys, the number 2, student underscore ministry. All right, they put me there. So Keys to student ministry, underscore ministry, and go ahead to Instagram. And guess what? We on TikTok now, y'all. So we on the TikTok. Yeah, and look, let me do it right now. You can go to the TikTok at keys.2.student.ministry. That's what they gave me, bro. I'm gonna try to simplify it, but keys.2.student.ministry on TikTok. You can follow us there. So all that's it. That is a mouthful, man. We're gonna have to get better with that. You gonna get better. Just subscribe. Go to YouTube. Keys to Student Ministry podcast. All right, and we'll link it up all there. So, again, thank you everybody for tuning in, for listening. Hopefully that you're able to take something away from this. Again, shout out to Justin Mitchell. You know, he got some things going on, and then I'm gonna try to get on this Sparking Zero again and get frustrated. So I'm not even gonna play you. I was gonna ask to go ahead and let's jump on together, but don't worry about it, bro. I don't know. Maybe you can like talk me through as you beat me down.
Maybe well, I'll put you step by step, bro. I get you.
as he put them
for a
paws
small
on me.
fee of $2.99 an hour.
Right, as he putting them paws on me, just never winning. So, all right, y'all. Love you all. Love, peace, and hair grease. This is Pastor Herb. It's Justin Mitchell. All right, y'all. We out.
Yes, sir. Yeet.
Peace.